Sleep paralysis. The shadow people explained. Sleep paralysis is one of the most frightening experiences a person can have. Imagine waking up in the middle of the night and becoming aware of your surroundings. Your eyes are open. You can see your bedroom. You can hear sounds around you. But there is one problem. You cannot move. No matter how hard you try, your arms refuse to respond. Your legs feel frozen. Even speaking becomes impossible. Many people also report something even more disturbing, a feeling that they are not alone. Some describe seeing a dark figure standing in the corner of the room. Others report a shadowy person sitting near their bed or slowly approaching them through the darkness. Some feel pressure on their chest, making it seem difficult to breathe. Others hear footsteps, whispers, or strange sounds that appear completely real. For centuries, these terrifying experiences were often explained as supernatural events. Different cultures around the world created stories about demons, spirits, ghosts, witches, or other mysterious entities visiting people during the night. Today, we know that sleep paralysis is a real and well-documented neurological phenomenon. But understanding what happens does not always make the experience feel any less frightening. So what exactly is sleep paralysis? Why do so many people report seeing similar shadowy figures? And most importantly, what can you do if it happens to you? Let's take a closer look. What happens during sleep paralysis? Sleep paralysis occurs during the transition between sleep and wakefulness. To understand why it happens, we first need to understand how sleep works. During a normal night, the brain cycles through several stages of sleep. One of the most important of these stages is called REM sleep, which stands for rapid eye movement sleep. REM sleep is the stage where most vivid dreaming occurs. During this time, the brain becomes highly active, often creating detailed stories, images, sounds, and emotions. However, while the brain is busy dreaming, the body enters a temporary state of muscle paralysis known as REM atonia. This is a natural and necessary process. Without it, people might physically act out their dreams, potentially causing injury to themselves or others. Normally, this paralysis ends before a person becomes conscious, but sometimes the timing is imperfect. A person may become mentally awake while the body remains temporarily asleep. The result is sleep paralysis. The individual becomes aware of their surroundings but remains unable to move or speak for several seconds, or in some cases, a few minutes. Although this experience is harmless from a medical perspective, it can feel extremely alarming. Many people report an overwhelming sense of vulnerability. Some become convinced that something is seriously wrong. Others fear they are having a stroke, a heart attack, or even dying. The inability to move creates a feeling of helplessness that can quickly trigger fear and panic. Unfortunately, that fear often makes the experience feel even more intense. Why do people see shadow people? One of the most fascinating aspects of sleep paralysis is the phenomenon often referred to as shadow people. Across different countries, cultures, and generations, many people describe remarkably similar experiences. They report seeing dark human-like figures standing nearby. Some figures appear in doorways. Others stand silently in corners of rooms. Some seem to move closer to the bed. In many cases, the figures have no visible facial features. They appear only as dark silhouettes or shadows. This raises an interesting question. Why do so many people describe similar experiences? The answer lies in the way the brain processes information during sleep paralysis. Even though a person may feel awake, parts of the brain are still operating in a dreamlike state. This means that dream imagery can sometimes blend with real-world perception. The brain attempts to make sense of confusing signals coming from both the sleeping and waking states. As a result, visual hallucinations can occur. These hallucinations often take the form of human figures because the human brain is naturally designed to recognize faces and people, even when information is incomplete. This ability helped our ancestors survive by quickly detecting potential threats in their environment. In darkness or uncertainty, the brain often fills in missing details. During sleep paralysis, this process can become exaggerated. A shadow on a wall may seem like a person. A coat hanging on a chair may appear to be a figure watching from across the room. The brain creates meaning where none exists. Combined with fear and confusion, these perceptions can feel completely real. To the person experiencing them, the shadow people are not imaginary. At that moment, they seem as real as anything else in the room. The feeling of a presence. Interestingly, not everyone who experiences sleep paralysis actually sees a figure. Some people report something equally unsettling. They simply feel that someone is there. Researchers often refer to this as the felt presence phenomenon. A person may wake up and immediately sense that another being is in the room, even though they cannot see anyone. This sensation can be incredibly powerful. Some describe feeling watched. Others feel that someone is standing behind them or beside their bed. The experience is so common that scientists have spent years studying it. One possible explanation involves areas of the brain responsible for awareness of our own body and its position in space. When these systems become temporarily disrupted during sleep paralysis, the brain may mistakenly interpret its own internal signals as the presence of another person nearby. In simple terms, the brain becomes confused about where self ends and where other begins. This confusion can create the powerful illusion that another being is present in the room. Although the sensation feels real, there is no evidence that these experiences involve supernatural entities. Everything points toward a temporary neurological event occurring during the transition between sleep and wakefulness. Why sleep paralysis feels so terrifying? Sleep paralysis is not dangerous, but it is often deeply frightening. One reason is that it activates the body's natural fear response. When we perceive danger, the brain releases stress hormones such as adrenaline. Our heart rate increases. Our breathing changes. Our muscles prepare for action. This response is known as the fight or flight response. Under normal circumstances, we can run away or defend ourselves. During sleep paralysis, however, the body remains temporarily unable to move. The brain detects danger, but the body cannot respond. This creates an intense feeling of helplessness. Fear increases. The brain becomes more alert. Every sound seems louder. Every shadow appears darker. Every sensation feels more significant. In some cases, this heightened state of fear can intensify hallucinations and make the experience feel even more realistic. The more frightened a person becomes, the more convincing the hallucinations may appear. This creates a cycle where fear feeds the experience, and the experience feeds the fear. Understanding this cycle is often the first step toward breaking it. What causes sleep paralysis? Researchers believe several factors can increase the likelihood of experiencing sleep paralysis. One of the most common is sleep deprivation. People who regularly get insufficient sleep are more likely to experience disruptions in their normal sleep cycles. Irregular sleep schedules can also contribute. Going to bed at different times every night may interfere with the brain's natural sleep patterns. Stress and anxiety are also strongly associated with sleep paralysis. Periods of emotional stress often coincide with an increase in episodes. Some people notice sleep paralysis during difficult life events, periods of uncertainty, or times of high emotional pressure. Sleeping position may play a role as well. Several studies suggest that sleep paralysis occurs more frequently when people sleep on their backs. While the exact reason remains unclear, researchers continue to investigate this connection. Certain sleep disorders, including narcolepsy, are also associated with an increased risk of sleep paralysis. However, many people who experience sleep paralysis are otherwise healthy individuals with no underlying medical condition. How sleep paralysis can affect daily life. For some individuals, sleep paralysis is a rare event that occurs only once or twice in a lifetime. For others, it can happen repeatedly. Frequent episodes may create anxiety around sleep itself. People may become afraid to fall asleep because they worry another episode will occur. This fear can lead to poor sleep habits and increased stress. Unfortunately, both of these factors may increase the likelihood of future episodes. Some individuals begin avoiding naps. Others stay awake longer than necessary. Some develop anxiety whenever bedtime approaches. Over time, this can impact concentration, mood, energy levels, and overall quality of life. The experience may also leave a lasting emotional impression. Even after learning the scientific explanation, many people remember their episodes vividly for years. The memory of seeing a dark figure standing silently in a room can remain surprisingly powerful. However, understanding what happened can often reduce the fear associated with those memories. Knowledge replaces uncertainty, and uncertainty is often what makes fear grow. What to do during sleep paralysis? If sleep paralysis happens to you, there are several strategies that may help. The first and most important step is recognizing what is happening. Remind yourself that sleep paralysis is temporary. Although it feels frightening, it is not dangerous. Many people find it helpful to focus on their breathing. Slow, steady breaths can reduce panic and help prevent the fear response from escalating. Instead of trying to move the entire body, focus on making small movements. Try moving a finger, a toe, the tongue, or even blinking repeatedly. Small movements often return before larger ones. Many people report that this helps them regain control more quickly. If visual hallucinations occur, try to remember that they are a product of the sleeping brain. The images may feel real, but they cannot harm you. Most episodes last only a short time before ending naturally. Remaining calm is often the most effective strategy. Reducing future episodes. Although sleep paralysis cannot always be prevented, certain habits may reduce the likelihood of future episodes. Maintaining a consistent sleep schedule is one of the most effective strategies. Going to bed and waking up at roughly the same time each day helps regulate sleep cycles. Getting enough sleep is equally important. Most adults require 7 to 9 hours of sleep each night. Managing stress can also make a significant difference. Activities such as exercise, meditation, deep breathing, and relaxation techniques may help reduce overall stress levels. Creating a calm bedtime routine can improve sleep quality and support healthier sleep patterns. For people experiencing frequent or severe episodes, consulting a healthcare professional or sleep specialist may be beneficial. Professional guidance can help identify underlying causes and provide additional treatment options if needed. A world beyond fear. Sleep paralysis can be one of the most unsettling experiences a person will ever have. The inability to move, the feeling of a presence, the shadowy figures that seem to appear from the darkness. All of these experiences can feel frighteningly real, but understanding the science behind sleep paralysis reveals something important. These experiences are not signs of danger. They are not evidence of supernatural forces. They are the result of a temporary mismatch between the sleeping brain and the waking mind. The fear may be real, but the threat is not. The next time you hear someone describe shadow people, remember that behind the mystery lies a fascinating neurological phenomenon that scientists continue to study and understand. And if sleep paralysis ever happens to you, remember this: you are not alone. Millions of people around the world have experienced the same thing. It will pass, you will regain control. Before we end this video, we'd love to hear from you. We are especially curious to know, have you ever experienced sleep paralysis? If you've experienced sleep paralysis, did you see a shadow figure, hear sounds, feel pressure on your chest, or simply feel that someone was in the room? What was your experience like? Share your story in the comments below. You might be surprised to discover how many people have gone through something very similar. Thank you for watching Trivia Nexus Facts, and remember, fear doesn't have to control your life. Understanding is often the first step toward overcoming it.
Subscribe and like for more mind-bending content on Trivia Nexus YouTube channel.